On the very same day that we told you Jon Stewart was moving to the middle, guess what? He won a little. He got a contract extension, but not for too long, from the same folks who said, you know what, Colbert, you can move along. So how did we know? How did we find out? Folks, we've got answers you need to know, and we'll tell you why Jon Stewart lives another day at Comedy Central. Folks, it's a fancy kind of day. It's a dandy kind of day, and it is because you've come our way. Thank you for rejoining us here in the studio in somewhere sunny USA. It's a glorious time every time we get to spend time with you. As we dive in today, get another exclusive brought to truth. We only ask that you click the like button. Folks, it's time yet again for another PhD level of understanding. No tuition required. You're all on scholarship simply for being here. Let's dive in right now. Folks, we told you on Monday morning, we told you that Jon Stewart was moving to the middle, at least as a facade. Might be odd, but he was moving to the middle to get some lovin' from Skydance, from the Ellisons. Wants to keep doing his once a week daily show hosting gig and enjoy that Rachel Maddow money. So we told you on Monday morning that Jon Stewart was going to be nicer to his conservatives out there, those that remain. He's going to be in the middle, centrist, pull a Bill Maher. That afternoon, Jon Stewart has signed a new deal to host the Daily Show through 2026. Boy, can we call it sometimes, I tell you. I don't want to brag too much. So, Jon Stewart moved the middle, and what happened? Well, he got rewarded. But folks, Stephen Colbert is not there. He is not having that kind of fun. It turns out that you win right now by doing what the corporation wants you to, and this is a tale of two different comics. Stephen Colbert also runs a show that's owned by Skydance, and they told him to dance right on out of town. Stephen Colbert confronts theories claiming Trump got the Late Show canceled by saying it's reasonable to think CBS' decision was politically motivated, but it's not worth it to engage in that speculation. Man, can you imagine being Stephen Colbert right now? They canceled you, and they just approved Jon Stewart to a sweetheart deal where he's got to work one day a week. Can you imagine? Man, that must sting. Quote, I can understand why people would have that reaction because CBS or the parent corporation, Skydance, I'm not going to say who made that decision because I don't know. No one's ever going to tell us. Decided to cut a check for $16 million to Trump over a lawsuit that their own lawyers, Paramount's own lawyers, said is completely without merit. Well, what else were the lawyers going to say when they're battling for you? And it is self-evident that it's damaging to the reputation of the network, the corporation, and the news division. Well, it is to you. So it is unclear to me why anyone would do that other than to curry favor with a single individual, a.k.a. the Orange Man. If people have theories that associate me with that, it's a reasonable thing to think because CBS, the corporation, clearly did it once, a.k.a. yet again, yeah, that's what you should believe. I believe it, says Stephen Colbert. At least that's the way we read it. But my side of the street is clean, and I have no interest in picking up a broom or adding to refuse on the other side of the street. Not my problem, so people can have their theories, which is so funny because he basically just endorsed it. Continuing on, this man has so much to say. How does he find the breath for all the words? I have my feelings about not doing the show anymore, but you'd have to show me why that's a fruitful relationship for me to have with my network for the next 9 months for me to engage in that speculation. I have had a great relationship with CBS. It's one of the reasons why this was so surprising and so shocking that there was no preamble to this. We do budgets and everything like that. We've done cuts and stuff like that. So that's what was surprising to me, as I said. But I meant what I said on air the next night after I found out because I couldn't sit on it. They've been great partners. They really have. They've been very supportive. Folks, I'll translate it one final time. I'm under contract still, so I can't say anything bad. Meanwhile, this is going to make him sad. He's his buddy. He's his pal. But Jon Stewart is going to somehow continue to work for Skydance. The Ellisons say you can keep doing it, but you'll notice one thing. Everybody needs to pay attention to this. Who moved to the middle and who did not? Colbert can't. He's crazy. What does it say when even Jon Stewart can move more into a centrist position? And you know he did because we covered this in the video. All of those left-wing outlets out there demanding that he be replaced, demanding that he be gone. Sunset Jon Stewart, they say, bring on a new face, bring on somebody else. Nope. That's what the corporation wants. That's what Skydance wants. Colbert couldn't give it to them. Jon Stewart can. Jon Stewart keeps his job. Colbert rides out in the sun. Real life fake wizard, what are your thoughts on this? It appears late night might not be dead as Colbert and Kimmel want us to believe.
Well, I'm going to say something that might be controversial. I think Jon Stewart is somebody you can have a conversation with. And I think that on that premise alone, this is a guy who is going to be willing to perhaps move to the middle. But we know that a lot of these people in this space just aren't willing to move to the middle or to change their rhetoric because they are so, I guess the word is, indoctrinated into what they believe. So for Jon Stewart to make this move, I'm actually happy to hear it. I'm happy to see it. I think he's funny sometimes. I happen to like Jon Stewart. Back in 2016, 2015, that timeline, Jon Stewart was going on the Daily Show and he was roasting Democrats. He was roasting the people on the Republican and Democrat side. If we can get back to that, Jon Stewart is somebody that I want to see roasting Democrats and Republicans alike because he can and he can do it well. So to have the business backing that and to be saying, let's get back into the middle, let's get back to doing what we do best, making everybody laugh, I'm happy to hear that. As far as Colbert is concerned, we know he can't. We know he will not let that go. He's not going to come back to center, so he's got to go do something else instead. These are businesses that want to get back to making money. CBS and Skydance want to make money. They want to be profitable. And with the current state of Hollywood, the current state of entertainment, that is impossible. So things have to change. And if Colbert's got to go, so be it. I'm looking forward to see what they replace Colbert with. I hope it's good, but I bet it's going to be in the center.
Right. And meanwhile, Jimmy Fallon is not doing well. He's trying to move to the center. We'll go to that and let's see if we can get that playing.
But the other thing, and that's all great, Fake Wizard, truly. The other thing about Colbert, even if he stays fairly far left, without these other guys there anymore, he suddenly becomes the furthest left, even if he's in the middle. So the audience that is stuck with, well, who are we going to watch, is stuck with him. So that could be successful. If you're the only game in town that's even slightly left, then the left is there because they have nowhere else to go.
Well, I'll say this too. You know, Fallon's trying to play the long game, right? Fallon is trying to survive as he watches Kimmel and Colbert, who right now are outpacing him in ratings, but they might not be there very much longer. And Fallon's been told by NBC to go to the middle. So I really do find it interesting that the people who are going to stay and stick around, Jon Stewart, Bill Maher, Jimmy Fallon, clearly Greg Gutfeld, and for right now, they're claiming, Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert, they're doing great. They're doing, just fine. But when you look at how they're doing compared to like Gutfeld, man, they're in decline. It's hard for us. I'll say this. It's hard for us to compare directly any of the ratings to what we've got with Jon Stewart. And the reason is he's on the show one day a week. So, how do you compare him to, it's like trying to compare Rachel Maddow to the Five. It's not a fair comparison. Five's on 5 days a week. Rachel Maddow's on 1 day. So it's gonna increase her ratings because of supply and demand, right? She's got less supply, and so does Jon Stewart. Ron, your thoughts on late night? There is at the very least, what we can say is there's a significant push now to go to the middle in a way that did not exist 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I think Jon Stewart has the talent to pull it off. I've seen some of his rants quite against Biden. I mean, he really he was very much in the perspective of pointing out Biden's lack of perhaps brain function or whatever it is when he was slipping. Stewart pointed that out. I would also like to mention, in doing some research for an upcoming article, Kimmel himself said that Jon Stewart would have been better at his job. Apparently, Jon Stewart was originally supposed to get Kimmel's job. They had the same management team at the time, and Kimmel kind of didn't understand why he was chosen. And Bob Iger says, because of the two of you, you're cheap. But,
oh my gosh. I had not heard the second part. You're saying that Bob Iger has literally come out and said, well, actually, you only got the job because we didn't have to pay you as much as we would Jon Stewart.
That's what Jimmy Kimmel relayed, and I'll have to start. It should be at that Park Place tomorrow. I've already written it. I just got to double check it. But I was watching it. This is out of Jimmy Kimmel's mouth himself. Was asking,
which
Bob
of course
Iger
is totally trustworthy.
I mean, it was a different kind of a conversation because it was just on a podcast with Ted Danson. But it's really interesting to see this whole late night game play out. Jon Stewart, I do think, could have the talent to have had a very, a different career than just Comedy Central. He has the acting chops, or not. Never was a great actor, but he's definitely done some movies and things in the past. And I think he's certainly has a lot more charisma than a Kimmel or Colbert. I remember watching him when he first took over The Daily Show in the late 90s, and it was a fun watch back then. And it's just, obviously things have become so skewed in one direction in our country that it's caused people, the likes of Kimmel and Colbert, to go completely off the deep end. Jon Stewart, however, is smart enough that he can pivot when he needs to, and this is what's happening right now. And with that pivot, I think he's going to find more success.
So what's going to be the narrative now, do you all think? Because, the narrative was, these darn Ellisons, this darn Skydance, they hate Colbert. The orange man is right there. He's hiding behind every corner. Late night is dead. You can't tell a joke about President Trump anymore. They brought Jon Stewart back through the midterms. So what's the new narrative? What are we coming, or do we just completely ignore this now?
I think it remains to be seen.
2026 is not a long time. He's not getting a 3 or a 5 year deal, is he?
Well, he really, maybe he just wants to be there through the midterms. He wants
maybe
to.
That's all they want him for, is what I'm
That's true too. Could be. Lauren, you were about to say something. What were you going to say?
No, I didn't have a fully formed thought. I was just trying to.
That happens to me too sometimes, Lauren. I just start speaking and see what happens.
The rest of us, Lauren. Why should you be inhibited?
Yeah, I think Jon, has kind of he's not a regular late night talk show host. He's somebody that I think is palatable to more people, more because of his legacy than anything else. He's also wise enough to not get completely pinned down. So he's a palatable choice that they can use as something of a call it a measuring stick, I guess, to see how the audience reacts. And maybe that gives them another data point to decide where do we need to be to appeal to the broadest possible audience. I agree with Fake Wizard. They're interested in getting back into a profitable kind of mode, but I'm not sure that they're entirely sold on what they need to do that. And so this may be a way to test the waters.
You think he's going to be, is Jon Stewart going to be forced to stay somewhat in the left of center, but not in the kooky area under Skydance? Is that part of this contract, you think?
I don't think forced. I don't think Jon is somebody that can necessarily be forced. It's not like he needs the job. But I think that he brings a certain cachet with his reputation, and he has a certain amount of credibility with those people who like him. So he may moderate a little bit, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily outside of character for him, because he seems to be an equal opportunity skewer for those people that he thinks are dumb.
I also think that basically between him and South Park, that's the only reason that Comedy Central exists. Like, what else is there to have the channel on the air?
Yeah.
Nothing memorable.
No. So.
One last point about Colbert's statement. There's a part in there where he says something about, hey, we had budget talks and we knew that we had to, and I'm going, oh, so you used to lose more than $40 million a year? You cut it down to only $40 million a year loss? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Well, you're reading my mind.
How noble are you?
You're reading my mind, Luke, because I put up the Kimmel to bounce off of you and say, guess what? Kimmel came out, I think in the same article that we just referenced that we were talking about earlier. Kimmel came out and said, yeah, I got $100 million budget too. And you can't run with $100 million. There's no way you can do late night these days with the kind of ratings these guys have. They have cut the Johnny Carson ratings down to 20% of what Carson was doing. They have like 30% of what Leno and Letterman were doing.
Do you think?
And they
Carson
want to run $100 million budget.
Do you think Carson ever spent $100 million in his entire series?
Not even adjusted for inflation.
Not
no.
even close. Not even close.
No. All right, folks, that's where we're going to leave that one, but called it the day of. That's why you keep coming back to the Pro Channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll keep giving you the news you need to know often before the drive-bys even get a whiff of what's coming by for you. Good night, game over, drive home safely. Folks, this video is done. But before we all head home, we only ask one thing. Folks, as you get ready to head on out, consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and share your thoughts, for a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste not that beautiful personality of yours. And folks, we would say as you get ready to head out the door, that it has been an honor to spend time with you, an attitude of gratitude each and every time that you elect to join together with us. Breaking bread and breaking entertainment, well, the industry. No, we like entertainment. It's the industry that irks us sometimes. Well, it was a good time. We hope you had a good time. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun. Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.